Do we want to get in to our awards, guys?
Yes,
I,
let's.
it's what we're here for.
All right. EJ, introduce this
Everyone's
concept.
craving.
Okay, so I put together 5 very strange, 6 now because Tori has our fun additional pre-show, I will call it, the pre-show award.
Don't hype it too much. It's not that exciting.
But no, it's fun. We have this just these random things. I will introduce each one after we finish. Just because they're all oddly named, except for the last one, which is just our favorite movie of the year. Because here's a word I didn't want to use: best or worst. That's something I just don't particularly like in the Razzies and Oscars. I don't look. We're all subjective people. That's why I did our favorite. I think that's such
But I think it's also it's a really good point because especially like in the last year, because we were talking before we came on air about like on air. Look at me, we're so professional. You know what I mean? Before we started recording, and I feel like last year in particular, there was really a gulf between what I thought might be the best and what was my favorite. Those are different things. And yeah, also my best is utter bollocks to someone else. So there's that too.
Yes. So, and that's kind of what I wanted to include in our award of just like, these are all subjective and we're having a fun, goofy time. If you're offended by these, especially one of them that is directly meant to make fun of another movie, calm down. Like,
you need to calm down.
Yeah, I don't particularly support Taylor Swift, but yes, we can quote her for that. She'll probably charge us $1.50 for saying that.
That's fine. I'll pay her.
All right. All right. We'll start with Tori if you want to do the one you had a suggestion for, because I have one as well for yours.
Okay, my little added category. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, so by the way, I should have said when I was like, oh, it's not too exciting, I meant this category, not EJ's whole like awards thing. That's fine.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, so my added one I wanted to kind of tack on, mainly because I'm shameless and haven't actually seen the film. So therefore, I can't comment on the film. But I wanted to give a little love to creative advertising campaigns over the past year for films, because advertising is important. Like we just discussed with the whole Jane the Virgin thing, how I described it is not how it has been advertised necessarily. My favorite ad campaign, and it's literally for one thing, and I love this man, but I feel like he gets lots of credit, so I don't want to like swell his head more, but I really dug the whole Ryan Reynolds in Pokemon Detective Pikachu. And the specific thing I want to give a shout out for is his Twitter link he did. Like this is depressingly like deep dive. He tweeted out like a link from a fake account and did it as though it was pirated. And he was like, and he tagged in the studio that produced Detective Pikachu and was like, guys, you need to take a look here. And if you clicked on it, you got taken through to a YouTube video, and for the first minute 30 seconds, it's the beginning of Pokemon Detective Pikachu, and then it just cuts to, and I'm assuming this is the exact length of the film because like the length of the YouTube video is like an hour 40 something. It is just a continuous loop of Pikachu, who I think we can all agree is adorably animated in that film. Pikachu just dancing on a loop to a super 80s upbeat kind of aerobics soundtrack. And it's mesmerizing. And that made my year, basically. So, yeah, I think it's great, and that's why I wanted to award it.
Yeah, that movie had a great ad campaign. There was a lot of other ones where Ryan Reynolds did one where he was method acting as Pikachu, and he said Pikachu doesn't have kids, so it cuts to Blake Lively saying he hasn't been home in weeks. Like I haven't seen him. I don't know. And it's just so funny, and Blake Lively playing it up, and it's great. That movie, as much as I don't particularly love Ryan Reynolds as a character in films, I feel like he has a one-note thing.
Yeah.
He gets it. He's so funny in ad campaigns and interviews. He's a very charming human being, and usually down to the whole allegedly leaking the Deadpool screener thing, and he's so smart. He gets it, and he's one of the few. Yes, he has fun. This was a great category because I have one. Knives Out this year promoted the hell out of themselves. Everything they had. sweaters that Chris Evans wore in The Thing. They sold those sweaters online. Martha Stewart did one about the perfect knives to use when your knives are out. Like, it's just...
I didn't see any of these.
They just... Yeah, they went the extra mile, and I will give this movie credit because Ryan Johnson really needed to prove that he is a fun artist in this way as well. Again, in the general thing, after The Last Jedi, I'm so glad he did this movie and was, I have great ad campaigns, I'm great on interviews, and I made a great movie. And I thought that was it's a good thing. Again, and ad campaigns are getting more and more important as the years go by, like trailers and how they sell you and video game time. All this BS that comes with it is becoming more important. So I like this award.
Yeah.
Cool.
I have one.
Yay!
I don't have nearly as much praise for it as you guys had for your other ones, but there was a movie that almost convinced us all that it was worth watching. And that was Terminator Dark Fate.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That is... claps to Alan won this award round. I like that. Yeah,
I have to confess, I've still not seen it, but
neither.
I saw the quote that was going around a couple of days ago, which is Linda Hamilton saying she hopes she can be done with the Terminator franchise now. I was like, oh dear.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, you were done with it. You just decided to come back and do another one.
Yes, but also she just got hired for another movie, so she's not dumb. This helped her a lot. As much as she came back to a bad movie, she's now coming back.
Yeah, she's back in the public.
Yeah, she came back to a lot of attention, regardless of whether the film was good or not.
Yeah.
And that will be awesome. So at least one good thing came out of that movie, not the insane beginning of the movie where they offended a franchise. Yay.
Yeah. Okay.
Sweet.
All right. Our first award we have today is the Wow, I Can't Believe We Like That Award. To describe this award, this is one that surprised us all. I think we all see, again, going back to ad campaigns or just our general feelings, a movie gets announced, a trailer drops, and you're like, or, I don't want to see it, and then you're surprised. So I will kick it off just to give you guys and everyone a clue for this. Mine's Watchmen. So when I first saw the trailer for Watchmen, when I heard Damien Lindelof was hired on this, I was out. I hate Lost with a fiery burning passion. He does mystery box writing where he just presents something, doesn't ever open the box, but it's there. There's something in that box, and we open it, and there's nothing. Yay. He did it with Prometheus as well, the fun alien prequel that is not an alien prequel, but it is. He will tell you it's not, but it is. Yeah. So I was so nervous going into Watchmen, and Watchmen is one of the most inadaptable things ever. Like, I like the Zack Snyder movie. He gets it 85% correct, but it's also weird source material, so no one will ever get it correct. Yeah. Like, it's weird. But this TV show was progressive, new, adding a different political layer with the racial implications of the story, with Dr. Manhattan being a main character in something, and I can't believe HBO got away with that. Like, how they did it, everything that happened, Jeremy Irons getting a paycheck, Regina King getting Emmys for this, and again, you talked about the good fight. This was Jean Smart, Regina King, and another actress all over the age of like 45 getting great work on a superhero show that's Watchmen. Like, it's a great thing to see, and this was definitely something that I'm like, wow, I legit can't believe I watched a whole series, and I don't think there's another one because Damien Lindelof is not returning. He said, though, if there's a person of color who takes over the story, I will do it. I don't want to do it. That's the nicest thing he's ever said. Again, I don't know what happened to him in the Watchmen era, but everything changed. There was questions presented and answered, sometimes in the same episode. Rare.
Huh. I guess he just finally decided to justify his career.
Yes, this was it. This one TV show, and it was nominated for awards. Again, I don't think any of us thought Watchmen would be good, especially if you know about Watchmen. And look, not everyone loves it. Some people think it's woke liberal BS, like the comic book isn't.
Yeah,
woke liberal BS.
They're like, Alan Moore wouldn't have written something this far left. It's like, Alan Moore is a fucking commie. Like, he is like a literal communist anarchist.
He's an anarchist wizard. Yeah. Like, he's a magician at fucking kids' birthday parties, basically. Like, yeah, you would do this, you morons.
Yeah.
So yes, Watchmen was great. That was my I can't believe I liked it of the year. I don't know who's
Nice.
next.
Tori can go next.
Okay, I'll go next. So, I was going to mention another film, but no, I'm going to be strict on myself and keep it to one. So my can't believe I like this isn't because I was like, this is going to be shit. Like, I sat down to watch. I watched it at London Film Festival, so I chose it in its slot to watch it. But I feel like I don't know, it's had negative, not like backlash, but people aren't as enamored of it as I was. And I'm going to defend my interest in it because I'm going to rewatch it again now it's on Netflix. I really enjoyed The Two Popes. I thought, like, it's not gonna, I'm not saying it's the best film of the year. It's not blah, 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 best schmest. It's probably not my favorite either, but I just really enjoyed the concept of it. And you don't need to be Catholic to enjoy this film. I'm not Catholic. It's kind of an alien thing if you're not Catholic. But just this idea that, it's based off a monumental moment which would never normally happen, in that two living popes, well, technically in the run-up to the second popes, meet and talk. Because, generally you're a pope till you die, until Benedict the 16th.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that older men need more acting roles in Hollywood, because they tend to do pretty well. But I just thought that Jonathan Pryce and Anthony Hopkins turned in two really good performances. Again, I'm not like backing either of them for the Oscar in their category. I think the categories are really competitive this year. But like, particularly Jonathan Pryce, I've never watched him in a film and thought like, that was great, until The Two Popes. I really warmed to him, and in fairness, he doesn't actually tend to play very sympathetic characters. But I thought, what he played as Pope Francis and what the reality is probably quite different. But they had a lot of fun with the idea that, as far as Catholic popes go, Pope Francis is quite liberal. Small L, we're still talking Catholic. Still Catholic here, guys. And I don't know, I liked it. And I genuinely, if you want to watch a film that's kind of like gently thought-provoking and kind of interested, and if the idea of the Catholic Church doesn't fill you with dread and you can just go with the story, I was surprised how much I liked it. And yeah, that's it.
Nice.
That's a good suggestion, because again, that's a movie I am part of the backlash for. I was not a fan. I didn't think it was all that great, but I like that it did surprise you, because it has for a lot of other people as well. I've heard that from a lot of people who are like, I went into it, but no, I really liked it. So I do like hearing that.
And the movie that I couldn't believe that I liked came out earlier this year. I believe it was in the spring. And nobody was excited for this movie. It was delayed multiple times, and it's in a franchise that is way long in the tooth. But I actually really ended up liking X-Men Dark Phoenix.
Ooh.
Hey. I like it too.
Yeah, it certainly has its moments. It has some of the better moments in the X-Men franchise, I think. It's certainly not the most cohesive or tightly made movie. It doesn't have the best narrative in the world, but I thought it was a good time. And you get a lot of good stuff from McAvoy and Fassbender in it. And,
Yay, Michael Fassbender.
Yeah. And the kitchen scene with McAvoy and what's old boy's name? Holt?
Nicholas Holt, yeah.
Yeah. When Nicholas Holt is Beast, when he's laying things at Xavier's feet. Great sequence. That is a great sequence. And that's like the closest they ever got to actually capturing the character of Charles Xavier in these movies, because I feel like the Patrick Stewart one was just like benevolent, eternally
nice
right.
Old man.
Yes.
Yeah.
and that's just not Xavier. Xavier is kind of a fuck. So, there was enough there for me to really like the movie, when even I, going into it, was just like, yeah, this shit's long in the tooth and this doesn't look that great. But I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, minus the one clunky line from Jennifer Lawrence in their fight. I also really loved the fight with Jennifer Lawrence and Xavier as well. As Xavier's quick to want to be a celebrity, quick to love the thing, because I get it. You've been a mutant your whole time and a freak. You like people liking you now. But he has a problem with that in this movie, and how he handles it, how he sends the mutants out to do missions where they could die, but guess who's not going to die? Xavier. Like, she had a lot of shade to throw at him, and I really like that scene. She has that clunky, like, it should be the X-Women line, which again in context wasn't the worst. It just is clunky as hell. It's in Jennifer Lawrence. I've never seen an actress want to die in a movie so quickly in my life. She was literally counting down the seconds until she was out of that movie.
Like, please just kill me off early.
No, it's in the advertisement story. It is in the trailer.
Yeah, it really is.
I was kidding. It's been months. I've not seen it. I'm probably not going to.
Yeah.
No, my only complaint with the movie is it would be really good if it wasn't the last Fox X-Men movie of all time.
Yeah.
Like, if there's one more after this movie to just wrap it all up and they knew it, I would be kinder to it. It just is like, as an end of a franchise. Okay. Yeah. No, I like this one. That was a good pick.
Yeah. Right on.
All right, so next we have the bad movie from 2019 we would rather watch than Joker. So this is fun because Joker seems to be something that I don't think Tori has seen yet. Still.
No, I'm ticking all the other films off my list. I haven't got around to that one yet.
So,
I am genuinely going to make an effort to see it before the Oscars, though. I feel I need to have the full picture.
Yes.
So I can get particularly angry.
I wanted to say there's other movies that obviously Tori has put it last on a list. Me and Alan have spoke about not liking it as well. So I wanted to do stuff that we've put in front of this, basically. A bad movie I would rather sit through and melt through. And I think we all know my pick. It's Cats. I would watch. I would watch.
Even bad, though. Discuss.
It is.
Well,
it is.
I know it is.
I would rather watch a sing-along version with a live stage play like they do for Rocky Horror of Cats.
Excuse me. Are you suggesting that a sing-along version of Cats would not be as fun as the regular film version of Cats on its own?
Sing-along versions of anything is my actual personal hell. People talking loudly in a movie theater sounds like the worst thing in my life.
Yeah, hard agree.
Yowl along to memory together.
I mean, again, maybe during some of the, I don't know. I've seen videos online with people cheering during Cats, and it makes me really happy. And they're starting to do midnight screenings of Cats at local small movie theaters. So it's already a cult classic. I would rather watch Cats on an endless loop than Joker again. One, because I find it to be entertaining, and Tom Hooper's not trying to tell me a woke message about mentally ill people. So, I would much rather watch.
To tell you a woke message about cats. And that's all that matters.
He told me that Skimbleshanks won the popular vote, but the Electoral College went to that goddamn other cat.
And you know what Cats also told you? Cats told you, especially right at the end in that very big climactic final flourish, that a cat is not a dog. So,
that is a line
we all learned something.
That I learned.
That is an official line.
I mean,
so again,
it's very true.
I would rather hear them say a cat is not a dog than sometimes little boys want to werewolf out. A quote from Joker. Oh, God. Oh, he says werewolf out, and I wanted to shoot myself. Wait, Tori.
Just to add to that, my pick was Cats too. I also went not that I thought it was a bad film, but like to go even further, I was like the whole Cats versus Star Wars marathon because I watched them both in one day to try and do the podcast. Sadly, never made it, so I would do that again. Probably if I could before.
I'm glad we both went with Cats. Cats needed an award this year, and I'm glad we gave it an award.
Yeah, it needed one. And I guess that ultimately wins this category, but my pick for this was a film that released very close to Cats.
So?
I would rather sit through the fucking Rise of Skywalker again than watch the Joker.
I know, we tied it because my pick was both of them. So,
yeah, yeah. So
wow. Wow.
The December
20th. We on the same wavelength.
So that dead podcast basically just won this award. That like
yeah.
Cotton podcast is the winner.
Poetic justice.
Because as you won't hear because the podcast is lost forever, but we've talked about it since. I fucking loathed The Rise of Skywalker. I hated it. I thought it was the worst Star Wars movie ever made. I think it's a fucking terrible movie. I like it better than the Joker. So...
Oh, good. Justice for that podcast one more time. That's how we need to end this award season. I like that. That was the best. This is now my favorite category. We could see if other ones would beat this. But this I knew was going to be a fun mess. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So let's switch to something a little bit more serious.
Okay.
In a way. The Future Classic Award. I like this award because actually we were kind of talking about it before. There isn't a lot from 2019 that I don't think is going to be there in a decade, be there in 5 years even. Though there is one or two, again, I even would have put Watchmen here, where I think Watchmen will be a cult classic that people will find on HBO in 2 years and be like, oh, that show was good. So I think there is some in 2019, but my pick, because here's why. I'm picking Avengers Endgame.
Okay.
Here's why. Because Marvel will never hit that peak again in Marvel, at least not for another 10, 15 years like they've had to build up for now.
Yeah.
Avengers Endgame is the end of an era. Almost, I want to say, in a moment of cinema. Like, they closed a book of Marvel. As we know from some books that we might like, the next book could be garbage.
Yeah.
I'm curious of what this next era of Marvel is going to be, but I think Endgame will be a legendary film for the rest of its career because of what it did in its own universe and because it might be the movie we point to being like, damn, do you remember when Marvel did that? Instead of Doctor Strange 3 and another Ant-Man and the Wasp, this. Like, I think that will be the peak of cinema for that brand. And I don't ever see them going to another high like that ever again. So that will make Endgame more legendary. And we all liked it, kind of. That was kind of crazy as well.
Yeah, I agree with that.
A major blockbuster all of us like, that's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree with that entirely. And I'm glad that movie got a mention because for all it did, it was worth some kind of end-of-the-year discussion.
Yeah, and I kind of thought it would have been like an Oscar conversation for visual effects or even ensemble at like other award shows, but it's not. So we'll give it a, you know what, you did something. You made you're the highest grossing film of all time. Good job. What about you, Tori?
So I've cheated slightly in this category, and I have two choices. You may predict one, but you certainly won't predict the other. Because in the other, I remove my own opinion of this film. But I kind of want to say that a future classic, if we add the word cult, is going to be Cats.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there.
Oh, no,
it's like it's a terrible film. We all think that, but it does its own thing. It has its own style. So I think there is a market out there for, it's not the Room level of bad, but it's a different kind of bad. So, there's space for it.
And it will be in that conversation when you're like, oh, really bad movies like Plan 9 from Outer Space, The Room, Cats. Even if it doesn't need to be there, it's there forever. So yes, I agree with you. It was almost my pick here, but I actually wanted to give Marvel a shout out.
Yeah, so I was sneaky there by putting cult in brackets, and then actually my other shout for this, which I guess you could also say cult. And even though I've spoken about it on this podcast, I didn't like this film. It confused and upset me, and I watched it too early in the morning. But I'm surprised. I feel like it would have had more attention than it has so far, so maybe it's just going to take a bit of time, I think The Lighthouse. I think Robert Eggers in general. Like, I don't know. I'm surprised at how it's been shut out by kind of The Irishman and 1917, both of which are films I really like. And this is weird because I'm kind of arguing against films I specifically personally preferred. But I think The Lighthouse could definitely be a classic, cult or otherwise.
I think more than his first, Robert Eggers' first film, The Witch, which is a cult classic in horror community. Like, a lot of horror fans love The Witch.
I like The Witch. I think, again, thinking back on how I thought about The Witch, I reviewed it, and I remember really clearly I gave it a 3 out of 5, but thought about a 4, and I should have given it a 4. And to be honest, I also respect other people absolutely loving it. I think it was a really good film. And then The Lighthouse is it wasn't my cup of tea, but I'm definitely going to rewatch it. And just because I didn't like it, I'm just like, Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe, I don't get why they haven't had any kind of acknowledgement for their amazing performances. And like, yeah, it's been nominated for cinematography, but like, it's original. There's nothing else out there. Like, Robert Eggers is doing his own thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He's making weird period, like not like a period piece like A Little Women or The Crown. He's doing specific niche periods, like 1700s Puritan America and like a lighthouse in the middle of New England. Like it's just so weird. Like he is truly doing something unique. And I think, yes, I agree with you. His legend will grow. I think Lighthouse will be one when he does that really big film. Like a Kubrick moment when he does his 2001 Space Odyssey, everyone's going to go, oh, but that one little weird indie movie he did before that.
They're going to have a great time being like, oh, but I thought The Lighthouse was great when it came out.
Yes. So, yeah, I think Eggers and The Lighthouse will have that legacy. Ooh, I love your pick. Ooh, yeah. Tori went for the weird horror one and I didn't. Good job.
My pick is actually going to be Knives Out.
that was almost on my list. So yeah, you have my spot there.
Yeah, I think it will get forgotten about for a few years, and people will come back to it and be like, "Oh, god damn it, that was great." So
when the sequel comes out, people will, because they have confirmed a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
We will get more Benoit Blanc murder mysteries, and I love that. I would love to see every Thanksgiving another Benoit Blanc murder mystery, at least for like when they did for Saw yearly. I love a good yearly or every 2 years franchise. Do that. Give me that, and I will. And yeah, I think. Like,
sorry, Shay.
No, go.
Like, could they not have Daniel Craig? Like, I'd love the idea if he goes like full on Benoit Blanc and like introduces it as story time, sitting in a chair by a fire, talking about welcome back.
It's just
help.
Here's another escapade of Macaroon.
Let Ryan Johnson do that before the films. Like, just stupid stuff like that. Go that extra mile, and we could have like cult classic movies in a more cult classic, because a lot of people went to go see this movie. But like, you can make them feel like that.
Yeah. Just make it regular dinner theater type stuff. I'm cool with that.
Bring dinner theater to the movies. Like, ooh, oh my god, that's a good pitch. Ooh, I like that. Good. I really like that one. I hope it does, because we all love it. Everyone loves Knives Out. I think once you see Knives Out, everyone loves it. Like, it's great. It's a great film.
Yeah, it's a great time.
All right, so my next one is something this is my cheat for the year.
Mm-hmm.
The Let's Retire This Award, a franchise, a trope, a concept in 2019 that we want to end. Mine is forcing movies. See, this is where I'm getting. Forcing movies to be movies still. Men in Black. I think Men in Black would make a great TV show.
Mm-hmm.
I think, there was another big franchise, X-Men even. There's a lot of these movies that I think we're still making movies out of them. Jumanji, another good example, that if we shift them into nice budgeted TV shows, give me a Men in Black on Netflix or HBO. That could be so fun. Weekly adventures. There was like an animated series when I was growing up that I really liked from Men in Black, because it's that weekly episode.
I remember that. I think
the Monster of the Week stories, and I miss that from Buffy. I tried the Charm reboot for that, but I like a Monster of the Week TV show, where X-Files is a good example as well. I think Men in Black in the style of X-Files could be so good. But no, we had to force it to make a movie because we think that's good. In the era of streaming services, start making more streaming TV shows, and I think we could. And I'm tired of forcing franchises to be movies still, when we could. There's other platforms and mediums that we don't have to make the movies anymore. Stop. Ghostbusters, another good example. Make Ghostbusters a TV series. It could be so good.
Also, can I just say, on your back of your Jumanji suggestion, I'm sensing like they could make it animated, and then you could give it a real Wild Thornberrys vibe. Like, I think that'd be great. Jumanji.
Yes. Again, animation.
Even a crossover, an official crossover.
I don't like to quote him often, but Joss Whedon talked about moving Buffy to comic books, and he loved doing that, because he has it's on season 11 now in the comic books. It ended on season 7 in TV, so he's been doing years of it here, because he says I have an unlimited budget. He goes, if I want a Hellfire apocalypse, we just have to draw it. We don't have to pay for it, like in that way. And I love that. And I want them to do that more with animation and stuff like that. Stop making movie franchises when we don't need them. I mostly just want to see Men in Black as a TV show because I love the universe and I want it to be good.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, that was my weird rant for that one, but I've been building up of I want more TV shows that are like of good movie concepts. There's good concepts that we could. John Wick is another one. I love the movies, but I could see a weekly John Wick show and wouldn't hate it.
Yeah.
Called The Continental. Book it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, thank you. That was my fun one.
What about you, Tori? What would you retire?
So I mean, mine is kind of like, it's not the same as you guys, but like I'm going with an idea here rather than like a specific film or whatever.
Okay.
Actually, I kind of have two here. No, I'm going to be strict to myself. I'm going to go one. I would like, this is going to sound so bitchy and pointed.
Yeah.
Yes, I live for that. No, it's not supposed to. I would like, and this is going to be, you're going to know exactly why I'm saying this because I told you what I've been watching like the last week or so. I would like to retire the idea that every comedian / funny actor that takes on a serious role should somehow automatically be nominated for an Oscar because they showed range.
Yeah.
I feel like that's really reductive to
someone saw Uncut Gems.
Someone saw Dolomite Is My Name. Yeah.
I think that I like that movie more than Uncut Gems.
I enjoyed both films. I think, as always, I was like, oh, great, hype, and then it didn't live up to them. But they were still good films. I'm glad I watched them. But I was just thinking, I was like, I mean, I guess it works for them to kind of amp up the volume on, hey, I'm doing something new out the box, and this is a publicity wave I don't get very much. Like, it's a new one. I should push it for all it's worth with the Oscars. And in fairness, like, shout out to Adam Sandler, who has signed on to do 4 more new Netflix films, just like he said he would, and they're probably going to be shit, because that's what he said. If I don't get nominated for an Oscar, I'm going to make 4 shit films. So there you are. We deserve it all. But fine, because I thought Adam Sandler was good in Uncut Gems, and I thought Eddie Murphy was good in Dolomite Is My Name. But no, actually, having seen the film, I don't think I would necessarily have singled them out to be Oscar nominated this year because it's a crowded year. And I would say with Adam Sandler, like, it's fun to see him do something new, but like when he does his like little outburst of crying, I did actually think, well, this is exactly the same acting. It just has a slightly different context. So, I mean, he was still like doing it weirdly, not quite like Happy Gilmore levels of weird, but like not far off.
Yeah.
So,
like, I wouldn't
that's kind of what I want to retire.
The Adam Sandler thing blows my mind too, because they're like, oh, Adam Sandler can act. It's like, yeah, he's fucking done this before. Like, this is like him doing dramatic roles isn't something new. Rain Over Me, Punch Drunk Love.
People want to like put actors in boxes though. They want them to have brands, and I guess it kind of ties into the whole general thing, which I guess is like the opposite of what I was saying, but like separately to that. What I still don't get why in general there's something about an actor making someone laugh is seen as way easier than someone cry, so therefore people don't really get awards nominated in recognition for good funny roles. They only get it in the case of Eddie Murphy and Adam Sandler, it's because they've gone dramatic.
Yeah.
And it's because the whole film isn't supposed to make you laugh out loud the whole way through. And I quite frankly think that's insulting to comedy, because people who are really good at it, like, that is hard.
I agree with
that.
This
is kind of like a massive think piece I've gone on to now. But yeah, basically I want to retire the idea that an actor doing something different, i.e. comic actor doing a serious role, suddenly means that they therefore deserve awards attention.
Yeah. I mean, I love seeing people change type, but that doesn't
I'm not saying they shouldn't.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's award worthy every time. I agree.
Exactly.
That was a good one. I like that one.
Mine isn't a concept. I would just really like for them to never make another Terminator or anything ever again.
Yeah.
Let's put it to bed.
Yeah, I feel like stop crapping on it.
Yeah.
That one almost falls into my category, though, because the Sarah Connor Chronicles was not a panned thing in the Terminator franchise. It's something that a lot of people are like, oh, that TV show wasn't bad. Oh, cool. more examples of like Terminator didn't need to be a movie. You could have put it somewhere else or done something else.
I mean, and maybe they can do something like that, or maybe they could have done something like that. But now, now the door is closed, and I don't want any of it. Stop.
Yeah, it's dead forever.
Yeah, maybe you can make some video games that don't suck, or some comic books that we can all just ignore. But no more Terminator. Put it to bed. It's done. There's 2 good ones and 4 awful ones. And even if you like one of those, which some people kind of like one of those.
Yeah, I'll admit,
Yeah, nobody likes multiple of them, though.
Yeah, and also, I just feel like you're constantly crapping on a legacy, which is quite amazing in that, like, Terminator and Terminator 2 are both excellent films in their own right, and many people hold the view that, in fact, Terminator 2 is that rare example of a sequel exceeding its prior film.
Mm.
So then stop ruining that by sequeling the sequel with shit.
Like, it's not even like, I mean, there's tons of series that, like, the first 1 or 2 are very good, and then the sequels are all a bunch of garbage, but, some people at least enjoy them on some level. It's not like, the Halloween series, where, like, the first movie is good, maybe the second movie is good, and then everything else is kind of trash, but you appreciate it on a certain level. Nobody appreciates the Terminator sequels. It's not like it's just like, oh, these are cult classics. They have their following. No, it's constantly people just being like, fuck, I like the first 2. Maybe I'll enjoy this one. And then we all feel shitty by the end of it because we've been tricked into seeing another fucking Terminator movie. So stop.
Yep. Ooh, that was perfect. I like that one. All right. Our final award, as most award shows, the best, our favorite, blah, blah, blah. Our favorite movie of the year. This one's pretty easy to describe. What is our favorite? It could be what you think is the best as well. Like mine is a rare time. Like I think my favorite movie of the year is the best movie of the year, and I'm picking Parasite.
Oh, Kel Surprise.
I cannot think of a movie like I loved Midsommar. I loved Us. Hell, I loved Godzilla King of the Monsters. But nothing stuck with me as it did like Parasite. And also looking at Parasite, it is some of the best production design I've seen in a while. I love the script, and it's a well-made, beautiful film. And it also is like an Oscar-nominated. It's the first South Korean movie to ever make it to the Oscars. Like it's rare that I like something this much, and it's well liked by everyone. Again, my favorite movie of 2016 is Batman v Superman. It's not the best movie of that year. So we're back to this is a rare time where I feel I'm in line with the average person. And yeah, Parasite's awesome. If you haven't seen it yet, another fun example, and we might talk about it during our Oscar, breakdown later on if it wins anything. But it's a goddamn beautiful, artful film with an ending most people would never predict. So I say, yeah, it's my favorite movie of the year, bar none, really.
Fantastic. I gotta finish it. I only got about 30 minutes in and then had to do something else, so I gotta come back to it. I'll go next because mine's not terribly interesting, and we've already kind of talked about it, but my favorite is...
it's allowed to be interesting. It's your opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not like gonna blow anybody's mind that's listened to this podcast or, the last 30 minutes of this episode, because my favorite movie was Knives Out.
That blows my mind each time that to see Knives Out get the love it does for an original film that is just so fresh and new. I'm so happy that Knives Out is getting its year, and it has honestly my favorite cast of any movie this year.
I wish it had gotten more notice at the Oscars, but it's great. But it's a wonderful movie.
I don't know. Ryan Johnson is Oscar-nominated filmmaker right now, so that's something he could add to his belt when he returns to Star Wars eventually.
God, I don't think he will.
No,
even with
I wouldn't want to.
that alleged trilogy.
No, I would delete Twitter if I'm doing those, just because I don't want to get bullied all day.
Yeah. What's your favorite?
What you got?
I apologize because my choice is annoying because I can't choose. I guess the only ooh, fun, how exciting, if people even care, is that I think I've changed my mind on The Irishman being my favorite film of the year, bar none. In fairness, Alan, I give you credit. I heard your criticisms, and I get it, and I think I just my immediate visceral reaction to a film upon reflection, I still really like it. I still think it's a good film, and in fairness, I do think it's going to go down well. I don't think it's Martin Scorsese's best film, but it's certainly not his worst.
Yeah, I think it will be well remembered.
Yeah, I'm annoying because I haven't made a choice. I did say kind of on record, and I think I voted for it, that Irishman was my favorite film of the year. I think having heard Alan's criticism, having thought about it, just generally calming down over my first, oh my God, I saw a film and no one could tell me about it beforehand. The excitement. I'm kind of tied because it kind of links to the whole, I don't think there was any film that was outstanding, but Knives Out was close. I will, credit that was close to me being my favorite. I haven't seen Parasite yet because it's not out in the UK, but I look forward to. So, I guess, sod it. You know what? A film I bloody well enjoyed, and it's not Oscar worthy, but I had a great old time watching it. I'm going to go for The King. Yes, the Netflix one with Timothée Chalamet and Robert Pattinson as a French panto villain, and I don't give a fuck.
that was one of my, you know what, I would have put that as if I had to do a movie, wow, I can't believe that movie. A war film with Timothée Chalamet based on Shakespeare.
Yeah.
I would have never clicked on that in my life. But Tori sold me on it, and she did a really good review of just being like, look, here's why, and Timothée Chalamet is really hot in that movie, and I agreed.
Yeah. And for the first time ever in either of our lives, that actually became something we thought.
Yes. Robert Pattinson played a camp villain. Yes. No, I love this pick. This is a good one. And I think all three of us really like this movie as well.
Yeah, I loved The King. I did not expect to. I expected it to be good, but I didn't expect it to be one of my favorite things this year, and it honestly was. I loved the performances. I mean, obviously the material, it's Shakespeare, so whatever. At least it was adapted Shakespeare.
Yeah, Joel Edgerton, I think, deserves a lot of credit for
Joel Edgerton.
Yes.
Yeah, he's quietly working behind the scenes, having a brain and stuff.
He's really coming up as a person in the industry that I see his name and I'm kind of okay, what's going on over there? And this was he was another person that sold me on this, and he adapted Shakespeare in a good way.
Yeah,
that's hard.
Yeah,
in a new way as well.
Yeah, it is, because a lot of people will just opt to do the original text, which is dense and not accessible to people. Take the Michael Fassbender Macbeth, which is a wonderful movie. It's fantastic, but if you are not prepared for Shakespeare, don't watch it, because it's it's verbatim.
I think Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet is a fun twist on it, though. It's taking that Shakespearean dialogue but setting it in modern 90s.
Yeah,
it's so interesting. That was one of the few times that I was take the text, cool, do something with it. And I honestly think Romeo and Juliet and The King are two examples of pushing it in a different direction, and good times of making good Shakespeare movies. Can't believe it can still happen.
Yeah, I without Kenneth Branagh directing it.
Oh, I will watch his 8-hour Hamlet movie because he goes in on that movie, but I like Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah, me too. But no, I enjoyed the hell out of this. It adapts Henry IV and Henry V. I don't believe it. I guess it would be the Henry IV Part 2 and Henry V, because I don't think it covers much of the original material from the first part of Henry IV.
Yeah, it's mainly Henry I Part 2 and then Henry V.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's great. The acting in it is all great. Edgerton as Falstaff is fantastic. It's hilarious. Mendelsohn as Henry IV, great.
Just Ben Mendelsohn should be in everything.
I agree with that entirely. For somebody
that
who's
genuinely was one of my most exciting moments in Captain Marvel, was when my gut instinct of him and his makeup was Ben Mendelsohn, I forgot he was in that. Then I was right. Yes.
For somebody who I was introduced to in a movie that I do not like, in The Dark Knight Rises, that was my introduction to him. I think I'd probably seen him in things before, but that was really the only time, the first time I knew who he was and knew him by name. But he's gone on to like put together a body of work that I just really enjoy.
I mean, even his performance in Rogue One is like eating it up. I mean, he's the Star Wars type of villain I like
have
loud and weird. And
have y'all seen Slow West?
No, I've been meaning to for years.
Yeah, that's a Michael Fassbender Western where Ben Mendelsohn's the bad guy. It's fucking great.
Well, those two together? Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I mean, Pack a Lunch. That name's not a joke. Like
Pack a Lunch. Oh, please, can that be our official like strap line for if you're like, you need to see this? Pack a Lunch.
Yeah. It is a slow West, but it is well worth your time.
I think we are done with our awards for the year. Tori came in with a king last minute and really shocked me. I did not. I like that one. Good job, Tori.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to talk about that because it got absolutely ignored for awards, and on some level I see that, but like, I mean, there are certainly things that we're able to shine a little bit more, but when the Joker's racking up nominations and this movie got ignored, it's frustrating.
It's that Netflix curse as well. I think if it was anywhere, I think if Neon released it or Fox Searchlight did The King, we would be talking about it way more this year.
You're probably right. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Oh, I like this. This was fun. I'm glad this turned out good, and we're staying somewhat on time.
Yeah, not the 45 minutes we hoped for, but just an hour. Just an hour. We're not going long here.
I like it. That's good. I'm so proud of us this week.
Yeah, look at us.
So far.
Yeah, especially for like people that 2 hours ago were like, we don't have a show. We don't have a show this week.
Think big behind the scenes, guys. Exactly. It's like, I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, we got it. We knocked it out of the park. Let's pat ourselves on the back.
And thanks for the categories, EJ. That was fun. I definitely would rather have done that than been like, oh, the BAFTAs are tonight and people are winning awards. Oh, let me.
I didn't want us to have to do like the best cinematography. Like it's The Lighthouse. Like I don't get.
Yeah.
I mean, like I just didn't want to do like serious awards. I wanted to do like not the Razzie level of like what, but like our own fun ones. And next year, let's see what they evolve into. We might keep some, and I want to see if we add some and things like that. So yeah, this would be fun. I hope to do this next year with everyone.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
We'll make this an annual thing.